funky.
Several thoughts about today's look. Number one, I look like an egg. Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is one that you guys have been requesting to see for a very long time now, and I haven't done one in a while, which is kind of out of character for me, but today's video, as you can probably tell, is an anti-haul. If you're new to this, it's basically where I just go through a bunch of new releases and tell you guys why I will not be buying them. Of course, I've been on a low buy for the entirety of this year, so I haven't really been buying a ton of makeup in general, but especially right now, I just feel like, obviously with everything that's going on in the world, it's a really weird time in the community. So a really common trend I've seen on Trendmood is people just being like, I'm not buying any of this stuff because, like, I have more things to be worried about, which is totally fair. But hopefully today's video can be a bit of a distraction because I'm just going to go through my reasons for buying these that are not related to the fact that I'm not buying makeup. Just some products that I just generally think are kind of
a disgrace to humanity.
Anti-hauls are a concept popularized by Kimberly Clark. I personally am inspired to do them by my friend Abby Williamson. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, but before we start, today's video is sponsored by Skillshare, and I'm so excited to finally announce that my Skillshare class is finally up on their platform. Hi, my name is Julia Mazzucato. Before I tell you more about that, Skillshare is an online learning community where you can browse through thousands of online classes covering dozens of creative and entrepreneurial skills. And if you click my link down below, you get premium access. What does that mean? Premium membership basically gives you unlimited access. A class that I think you should take that is included under premium membership is my own. Ever since I started doing videos with Skillshare, last year I believe is when I first started working with them, I really just fell in love with the platform and I decided that I wanted to make my own class with them. But it's finally finished and up on Skillshare. It's a 30-minute class with 8 different modules in it, focused on content creation, makeup photography, and artistic makeup artistry. And I really hope you enjoyed it if you do choose to take my class. So that is my class recommendation for you guys this month. And after you watch my class with your free trial on me, Skillshare is still incredibly affordable and it's one of my favorite sources of quarantine entertainment. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. Watch my class. I really appreciate anyone who chooses to support me. And before I start the video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting me and supporting Skillshare. In all my videos I've done partnered with them. You guys have been asking me when the class is going to be up and just asking me general questions about it, and it makes me really excited and very grateful that I get to work with brands that I truly love and care about, and that you guys, by supporting my sponsors, are also supporting me. So that means the world to me, and I just have to say thank you to you guys and to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Full details of this look should already be on Instagram, and if you would like to join in the roasting of several makeup products, please enjoy. Let's get into it. Alright, I have Trendmood pulled up. I originally thought when I was planning out this video that there wasn't going to be a ton to talk about, just because I feel like makeup releases have slowed down quite a bit. It is a little bit less dense in terms of new makeup releases, but I still feel like brands are coming out with a lot. I just haven't really been paying attention to new releases, so that's maybe why I felt like there were fewer, because I'm dumb. The first thing I want to talk about is this new Natasha Denona mini retro palette. This is actually quite an interesting color scheme. It's very much on the cool tone side. We have some greens in there, which you guys know I love me some olive greens. And this particular tone of like a kind of mossy, dusty olive green reminds me a lot of the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette, which is what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. The purples, obviously, not the greens. But honestly, I really love this color scheme from Natasha Denona. I think this is very much out of the box, very much a unique color scheme and release, and I kind of like it, honestly. The only thing is, it's a Natasha Denona mini palette, so I know where this road's gonna go. I can just feel the chalkiness of that green through the screen. Ugh. I've pretty much completely sworn off buying ND minis just because I've had pretty bad experiences with all the minis I've tried from them in the past. I've tried 2 of the mini palettes. I tried the mini Lila, which was egregious. Like, that purple was one of the worst things I've ever put on my eyes. So patchy, and then everything else in there was pretty mediocre. And then I also tried the mini nude palette out even after I'd sworn off ND minis because everyone was saying that that formula was more similar to the regular ND formula. honestly, it wasn't awful, but it also wasn't a formula that I would pay $25 for. A palette that's literally the size of like my index finger. I tried 2 of the mini cheek duos as well, and both of those were just really not great quality. So for me, I've just kind of through trial and error discovered that the ND minis just aren't my favorite formulas and don't really work for me. So that's like the main thing that's keeping me from buying this, is just I know I probably will not like the formula, but also the color scheme together is really pretty, and I don't think we see a lot of like cooler toned, more retro color schemes like this. But on reflection, I do have those 2 green shades I really enjoy in the Moonspell palette, and then the other shades are easily dupable in my collection. But I did have a moment of weakness there. Like, I was on Sephora.com last week almost gonna buy things, and I was like, it's $25, maybe I want free shipping.
Imagine how tired we are.
This is a palette that I got a lot of tags in, and honestly, Sigma Corte Rosa eyeshadow palette. It's based off the famous Sigma Corte Rosa blush, which is one of my favorite, like, very basic pink tone blushes in my collection. I love this shade. It's pretty much Sigma's version of like Lolita or Naked or whatever. It's just the collection that they keep writing. But I think this palette absolutely makes sense. I really like this color scheme. I think it's definitely something I would get a lot of use out of. It's neutrals on the more pink tone side. It's pretty much modern Renaissance basically, and I think it's beautifully done, but I don't need it because it's basically the same thing as modern Renaissance, which I'm currently trying to pan. So I definitely think that getting this one would probably distract me from using modern Renaissance in the first place. I don't know anything about Sigma's eyeshadow formula, but this is really expensive. It's $49, which I think is really pricey, especially for a brand that I don't really know much about their eyeshadow formula or haven't really seen a ton of things about their eyeshadow formula. So while I do think that this is a beautifully done palette and I think this makes sense within their collection, it's not something I'll be purchasing because it's been done. Charlotte Tilbury is coming out with the Magic Serum Crystal Elixir. This got me interested. I think I want to do a video talking about skincare lines from makeup brands, because for the most part, I think that skincare lines from makeup brands suck, but I want to do a video like talking about the reasons why I think that sometimes they suck and sometimes they don't. And Charlotte Tilbury has a few skincare products in their line. Their Magic Cream is something that they're very famous for, and then this is, I guess, their serum version of that. Claims seem nice but very basic to me. It's basically, from the looks of it, a hydrating serum. There's Replexium, which is like a good anti-aging ingredient. Polyglutamic acid, one of my favorites, especially if you have like an irritation to hyaluronic acid. It's one of my favorite very plumping hydrating ingredients, but it is definitely something that you can get from a lot cheaper brands. I believe The Ordinary has one, and maybe the Inky List. I'm not sure. It's one of those affordable skincare brands. There's also a tiny bit of vitamin C in the serum, but like really the main focus is on the hydrating ingredients. The ingredients aren't bad, but for $80, it's like the most basic serum you could possibly get. It's very much riding on the Charlotte Tilbury name for sales, not really any type of innovative formula, which honestly is not for me. And while I do think serum is the one category of skincare that I think is worth the splurge, I think there are a lot of really good expensive serums where you're genuinely paying for really high quality ingredients, really good formulations. This is not that. I think this is a very basic skincare product that's marked up like a good $50, $60 over what it should be charged. Also, there are 30 milliliters of serum in here. You would go through that extremely quickly, assuming that you use this like every day. That's when I would use a hydrating serum pretty much every morning for my skincare routine. I would be done with the serum within like 2 months. I was kind of confused as to why I was tagging this. I thought it was just Too Faced restocking their fruity line, but no, these are apparently new additions to the line, which I wouldn't know because these look exactly the same as everything that they've come out with already. They're coming out with a papaya eyeshadow palette, which has 7 shades in it for $34, and also a strobing bronzer. Immediate hard pass on the bronzer. It's a shimmery, like, highlighting bronzer, which is like the bane of my existence. I don't know if it's just like the long skinny pans, the way that it's laid out, the fact that it's missing a corner, which really bothers me for some reason. The colors are truly nothing special. I think the only shade in here that really interests me is this like one kind of pink peachy duochrome in there. I enjoy like some of their eyeshadows, but they're one of the most inconsistent brands in terms of eyeshadow qualities. I think their Just Peachy Mattes palette was great, and then the other peach palette that they came out with was awful. I just don't know how this would be, and I'm not really willing to find out. Hourglass is bringing back one of my favorite product from them, the Ambient Metallic Strobe Lighting Highlighting Palette. So this came out for holiday 2017, I believe, and these caused quite a stir in the beauty community because Hourglass is known for doing like really subtle, like barely there highlighters, and when these came out, they were intense. I was already wearing them on my cheekbone, but I just wanted to give you guys some emphasis. These are really beautiful. They have like a kind of semi-sheer base. They're really, really reflective without being glittery whatsoever. That was one of the problems I had with their, I don't remember what it was called, but they had this like line of highlighters that were different from their regular ambient lighting powders. But I just personally felt like they were like really chalky with bits of glitter dispersed throughout them, which was like not cute. But these are beautiful. They're like a velvety texture, reflective, but also like don't give you that like ridiculously foiled metallic cheekbone, which I think can look really fakey and very weird. So you might be wondering, why is this in the anti-haul section? I don't know who needs to hear this, but you don't need these highlighters in your life. I feel like that's a big language thing that people can get caught up in, especially as beauty YouTubers, being like, you need this in your life, it's so beautiful. You don't. Like, really, you don't. It's like, they're nice highlighters, yes, but I don't think that they're anything that's undupable. I think there are plenty of really good powder highlighters. This actually kind of vaguely reminds me of the Essence Pure Nude highlighters, which a little bit more blinding than that same like kind of texture, and that's a $5 highlighter. If you already have that, I don't think that you need this, and if you already have highlighters that are in these shades, I definitely don't think that you need this. I think that this restock is for people who were wanting it and weren't able to get it when it was originally out, but I definitely don't think it's something that you need if you weren't considering buying it in the first place. Stila, it's nice to see you. I forgot that you existed for a minute. Genuinely, I feel like Stila hasn't come out with new products in a long time. I'll talk about this eyeshadow palette because I think there was an attempt that was made. The Road Less Traveled eyeshadow palette, $39 for 8 matte shades and metallic shadows. And it's kind of interesting. There are some pops of color like coral, red, green. When I saw the colors in there, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And especially because it said metallic shadows and they kind of looked metallic in the pan, I was like, oh, I kind of might be interested in that. But then I swiped to the next picture in the carousel and it was the most like lackluster non-metallic swatches I've ever seen in my life, and I was like, okay. Stila is a brand that I would really like to see themselves reinvent, along with BH Cosmetics and Smashbox and other brands I consider kind of dead. They really haven't come out with anything that's been like a major release since the Glitter and Glows, which were popular around when I was getting into makeup, 2016. And this palette kind of signifies to me that they're trying to branch out a little bit, but I don't think that the execution was 100% there. This next one kind of made me sad because I talked about recently in a video about how sometimes just for comedic value I go to the Trend Mood comments section and just read the funniest roast I can find, and this post gave me plenty of ammunition for that. Essence is coming out with a new collection called the High Beauty Collection. It's all like cannabis weed themed, and the comments, oh no. I feel like the cannabis trend that went through the beauty community started like about a year and a half ago and really like hit its peak in 2019. But I do want to say, there hasn't been a ton of extensive research on using hemp and cannabis in skincare and makeup products. In makeup products, I don't think it has any effect other than like marketing, or like, haha, I have weed on my product, which can be fun. I like my Smoke Sessions palette. I personally don't smoke because I'm under 21. So the reason I'm putting this collection into the anti-haul isn't because it's like weed themed. I don't really have a problem with that. I just don't really think there's a ton of like literature and medical research supporting cannabis as a beneficial ingredient. CBD and hemp and skincare I don't think can necessarily hurt, but I also don't necessarily think that they're doing anything beneficial. And especially the biggest thing I've learned is that quality hemp and quality CBD comes with a really high price tag. And Essence, while they do deliver on really good prices, I don't think that they would be using the type of like high quality cannabis that would necessarily give you results that would be noticeable. So I think it's a little bit too late to be jumping onto this trend anyways. I feel so bad for all these beauty brands. It's the absolute worst time to be putting out product. Everyone is saving their money, and like that's exactly true. I just think this is a frivolous release that doesn't really have too much of a place. This next one is something that I want, and I'm talking myself out of buying it right now, live in the video. The Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. I want this so bad, especially because By Beauty has changed the formula of their agave lip mask, which y'all know I loved so much. I love lip balms with my entire body and soul. I have an entire lip balm shelf. I don't need any more lip balms. I'm actually trying to pan 3 different lip balms at the moment, and it's like not going great. I apply lip balm like every single hour, so I have this in my loves list. I'm anti-hauling this right now though, because I don't need any lip balms. I don't think I'm gonna need lip balms for like at least the next 6 months to a year probably. So I'm just going hard and saying I'm not going to buy this lip balm. I actually kind of want to wait for some reviews of this as well, because I know Summer Fridays is a very much like Instagram hyped up brand, so I want to see if this actually lives up to the hype. But the ingredients sound beautiful, and I think this will be a really nice replacement for my beloved by Beauty Agave Lip Mask, but I don't need it right now. Strength. So next up I want to talk about the Laneige Glowy Face Serum, which I have. This I wanted to put in the anti-haul though, because I got this in PR and I probably wouldn't have bought it on my own if I didn't get it in PR, which doesn't really sound in character for me just because it sounds like everything I would want. It's basically a glowy serum that can be used as a face primer. I've been testing this out, but so far I really enjoy how it looks on the skin, and I have been liking using this. The reason I probably wouldn't have purchased this on my own though is just because I haven't really been using primer super regularly. I've just been testing this out to see just how my skin likes it, but for the most part I've been relying on just going through a nice thorough skin prep routine. What I usually go for in terms of primers is like a hydrating dewy primer, and I find that I don't really need extra hydration if I've already done a thorough enough job with my skin prep. So I've just been testing this out for the past like 2 months or so to see, but I haven't really been using primer as much, and I've just been relying on doing nice thorough skin prep and then going in with makeup on top of that, and I haven't seen a difference in how my makeup looks dewy, how it wears throughout the day. Also, it claims to have like diamond mineral powder in it, which I just think is like kind of BS. So I've been testing this out, and I will review it once I finish testing this out, but it's not something I would have purchased on my own. And that's another video idea. If you guys want to see a video talking about like PR I probably would not have purchased on my own, but I have now, let me know if you want to see that video. I'm gonna rose this palette in true me fashion, but I also have a few nice things to say about it. It's Morphe 24A Artist Pass palette. They came out with a collection with Saweetie. I think this is an interesting match. I didn't really think of Saweetie as somebody who was into makeup, so this is kind of coming out of nowhere, especially like with Morphe.
You're bombarding me with so much information right now, like.
But the palette itself I think is really pretty. In terms of color story, I think it's a nice take on a rainbow palette without being exactly the same as the James Charles palette, and I think it's a good fun size for Morphe with a good price tag. I don't love the pressed glitters in there. I would have preferred that those were like more textured shimmers, especially because I feel like Morphe's shimmers are pretty lackluster for the most part. Like the shimmers in the James Charles palette are like my least favorite thing in the entire palette. I think the shimmers in the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette are okay. I think Morphe's mattes are a lot better than the shimmers. Overall, I don't hate this palette. I think it's like pretty, and I don't think the color scheme doesn't make sense. I won't be buying it obviously, because if you have the James Charles palette you don't need this one, but I think this is a different take on a rainbow palette from what they already have in their collection. I've had a lot of requests to review or just like talk about the Melt Rustic palette. So they came out with a Rust collection based on their famous Rust stack, and they came out with a full-size Rust eyeshadow palette, which I think is so pretty. This is my shit. This is like my ideal neutrals palette. It's like kind of grungy, chestnutty, mustardy tone neutrals. This is so beautiful. I think that Melt's palette formula is a lot better than their stack formula as well, so I think this is a stunning release. And if I didn't have the Gemini palette, which I feel like has the mustardy tone neutrals that I love from Melt in the formula that I love, I probably would buy this palette, but I do have the Gemini palette, which has like half mustardy tone neutrals, so I don't think I really need this one. Dang it though. It's like really pretty. Okay, I need to stop looking at it. I feel really attacked by this. I cannot see it. Another thing from Natasha Denona, these are the Face Glow Cream Shimmers, and y'all know I love my cream highlighters, so I wanted to talk about these. First of all, the disqualifying factor is that they're $38 each, which is, I just think, way too much to pay for a single cream highlighter. There are 3 shades in here, and the shade that's like best fitting for my skin I think looks beautiful. And also the claims that came with this product really bothered me. It says there's instant silky light effects. Love that use of adjectives. Beautiful. I'm just gonna critique their writing skills here. Radiant color finish, creamy formula fuses to skin. It's claiming to have lychee extract in it, which is to offer antioxidant and hydrating properties. I don't know about you, but highlighter doesn't need to have skincare in it. Highlighter is like one of the last steps in my routine. The ingredients in your highlighter stick are not going to penetrate through like layers of makeup into your skin to give you beautiful hydration and skincare benefits. That doesn't by any means mean that I'm against having like good ingredients in makeup products. Obviously I'm not against that at all. I just think that this ingredient wasn't included for any other reason other than to give them an excuse to hike up the price to $38, which I think is unreasonable. So especially because I'm like looking at that Fenty Beauty like gloss stick highlighter instead of this one, I think I'm gonna go with that one and not buy the ND ones. I haven't really felt the desire to buy anything from Natasha Denona in a long time, and I currently own like 3 single eyeshadows from them, and that's it, and I'm perfectly content to keep that up. This is a palette that I've seen a lot of like my indie creator friends talking about, the Menagerie Cosmetics Pastel Pup Palette. I see that pastels has been like the big trend of this spring, which I'm not opposed to. This is an all matte palette, and I've never tried Menagerie's formula before, but I think this is really cute. I love this color scheme, and I do love pastels on my eyes. I have a controversial opinion though, and it's that I think the packaging is kind of scary. I don't know what it is, because I know it's supposed to be cute, but like he's staring into my soul and I don't know what to do. It's not for me. It's just not for me. I get that it's supposed to be like a kind of cutesy, like cartoony packaging, but the seal is like freaking me out, and I can't deal with this. So for that reason alone, I'm not buying this palette, but I do think the price is like okay, and I need to stop looking at him. He's scaring me.
Oh my god, call the police!
This I just wanted to quickly address. I've talked about it as like a release in a few videos, but I haven't actually talked about it as like a product. The Morphe Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. I've had some people, not a ton of people, because I think most people like know me, but I've had some people asking me if I'm going to be reviewing this palette. No is the short answer. I think it's actually a really pretty palette, and I have seen good reviews of this one. I've heard that the formula is like really good and like the original Jaclyn Hill palette, which I love. I think that if you have that palette, the original Jaclyn Hill palette, and the James Charles palette, you definitely do not need this palette whatsoever. It's just like the warm tones from the original Jaclyn Hill palette turned up a little bit in brightness to be a more colorful take rather than all neutrals. I do think it's pretty, but it is 35 shades. I remember the Jaclyn Hill palette, the original one, being like $32, and this is $39. So I don't know where that markup came in the last 3 years, but I guess that's what they're doing now. I wanted to really quickly talk about the Anastasia Beverly Hills mascara, the Lash Brag Volumizing New Mascara, which I won't be buying because I'm trying to go through other mascaras right now, and I don't like having more than one like high-end mascara open because you have to throw them away pretty quickly. The main thing I wanted to talk about though is that a lot of people were saying that they copied the Fenty packaging, which like I don't think that they did. Given how much time goes into production of makeup products, and given the fact that the Fenty mascara is also a relatively new release, there's no way that they copied the Fenty mascara packaging within like the time that it's been out. So I have no problem with the packaging. I think it actually looks like a really beautiful formula. Probably try it out at some point, but not right now, just because I don't want to have multiple mascaras open. And then the last thing I want to mention is the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas. This I had a lot of thoughts about because I love the Silk Canvas primer. Again, I know I just went on a tirade about how I don't like use primer very much anymore, but I think Silk Canvas is different because it's like my only pore filling type or smoothing primer that I feel like actually does that to my skin and gives me like a really different effect to my makeup. So I love my regular Silk Canvas, and the reason I'm not buying liquid Silk Canvas is because I have regular Silk Canvas and another one because I bought a backup because I'm stupid. This is for somebody who maybe doesn't like putting their fingers into makeup products and would rather have like a liquid version of that same primer. Then I would say go ahead and try this out. But for me, I've already got Silk Canvas. I don't mind digging my gross fingers into a putty primer. So yeah, those are all the things I'm anti-hauling, and then at the end of my anti-hauls I usually like to include 3 to 5 makeup releases that I'm actually planning on picking up, and I only have 2 to talk about today because nothing else was interesting. The Dominique Cosmetics skin glosses, these look so pretty. I do want to wait for reviews of this, and obviously I probably won't be purchasing this like super immediately just because I'm trying to be on like the low buy / no buy side of things, but if these have good reviews, yeah. And then of course the Fenty Beauty cream cheek products. I don't know when they're coming out exactly. I'm only going to purchase maximum 1 shade of each. I might only just purchase a blush because I don't really know if I need any cream bronzers, but I'm very excited about these cream blushes, and I want to see them come out with powder blushes. I don't feel like they've done that yet, so that might be the next thing coming out from Fenty, which I'm so here for. Alright guys, that is it. Those are all my thoughts on the new releases, and that was your anti-haul of the month. I'm so sorry for like the long space between the last anti-haul and this one. I just like haven't felt like doing them. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Again, please click my link down below and go and check out my class on Skillshare Premium for $0.00. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed down below and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And if you made it to the very end of this video, I love you so much. You get the bonus meme. Love you. Bye.
I walk around like that.